Well, welcome everybody to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, JB Owen, and I'm so happy to be here because today is Valentine's Day. That's right. It's the big, wow, wonderful Valentine's Day. So wherever you are in the world, happy Valentine's Day to you. And I want to bless each and every one of you. It's kind of a special day for a couple of reasons. My mom's name is Valentine, and so we always celebrate this day extra special for her. And of course, it's love and blessings around the world and in the home and the family. And we've got kids, so we spoil them on Valentine's Day. So I hope wherever you are going to spoil you and spoil someone you love. Now, in a spirit of Valentine's Day, we want to offer you something super special and super extra. We are doing bouquets of hope. That's right, bouquets of hope, virtual flower bouquets that you can send to the person that you love, and they're only $12. Now, the spirit of this initiative is $12 donated to our charity will purchase 12 bricks in the schools that we are building around the globe to ignite children and ignite people in their literacy. And so when you purchase a bouquet of hope for $12, you actually buy 12 bricks, and then you get to send that bouquet of hope to somebody that you love. And they receive a wonderful virtual big bouquet of flowers and a spreadsheet or a issue that shows them exactly what those $12 are doing and our initiative to build schools around the globe. So we want to have you go to ignitehumanity.life/hope and check out our Bouquet of Hope initiative, where just $12 makes a big, huge difference. And well, you know, it's Valentine's Day, so you want to do something creative and something different and something unique, and it doesn't have to be just for a loved one. You can send a bouquet of hope to anyone, your boss, your coworkers, your friends, your colleagues, your teammates, anyone who you feel would be uplifted by knowing that $12 and their Valentine's Day present went towards building a school. So go check it out, ignitehumanity.life/hope. That's right. And so it's all about Valentine's Day today. Even though it's Tuesday, we're also talking about awakening, different things that you can do to awaken in your life and inspire yourself and awaken to this idea of igniting humanity. And what is that all about? Well, let me share with you that I believe that Ignite moments is what's going to ignite humanity, those powerful, special moments inside of each and every one of us. Now, we all have Ignite moments. Sometimes they're difficult, sometimes they're sweet, sometimes they're hard. Sometimes they're just that little nudge that we need to go further and forward in our own personal mission. The best thing about Ignite moments is we learn something from them. We go in with one idea and we come out with another idea. As our Ignite moment unfolds throughout our lives, it gives us a new awakening and it allows us to see something differently. And many people, through their Ignite moments, actually become a greater version of themselves because of those trials and tribulations, because iron sharpens iron, and because through the obstacles and over the hardships, they really get awakened to who they want to be, who they want to become, and who they want to step into. Now, we all have precious Ignite moments in our lives, especially around Valentine's Day. I'm sure that you can think of a loved one or something around love and admiration and adoring that actually was a spark for you. Now, maybe for some of us, we're alone on Valentine's Day, or we don't have that significant special other, but we have love in our lives in other ways, with our pets, with our kids, with our colleagues, with our friends, and even eternally with ourselves. Many times, we feel like we are our best friends and we need to love ourselves. And Valentine's Day is a great day to spoil you, to really treat you, and to, in fact, buy yourself a bouquet of hope and just treat yourself. Because, well, the truth is, nobody matters more to you than you. So you should spoil yourself. And so we encourage you to do something really fun, beautiful, and inspiring today, because when you ignite yourself, you give others permission to do the same. When you show people what you do for you, it allows them to feel like they can do something for them. So if you're spoiling yourself or treating others or being generous or being kind, it actually reflects upon others. And that is how we're going to ignite humanity, with these wonderful, amazing ripple effects of impact that start to make a massive shift. And it all begins with a beautiful Ignite moment. Now, each and every episode, I've been having wonderful guests on the show. And today is super special because, well, I'm bringing on my sweetheart, my love, the love of my life, my husband, to be a special guest on the show. Now, my husband, who I absolutely adore, is the other half of this amazing impact that we're making through Igniting Humanity, Igniting Possibilities, and our publishing house, Ignite Publishing. And so Peter has been a huge Ignite moment in my life in many ways, continuously over and over again. And we're super blessed to be selling Valentine's Day together. He is the CTO and CFO of Ignite Publishing. He is absolutely phenomenal in all the things that he does. He's a father of 2 of his own and 2 of mine. He's an incredible, amazing human being, and I'm just really welcome to have him on the show. I'm looking forward to sharing with you some Ignite moments and a little bit about how Peter Geeson is igniting humanity. All right, come on over. Come on and check it out. Hello, my darling.
Hello, lovely. How are you?
I don't get to always kiss guests on the show, but I couldn't resist it.
Okay,
absolutely. All right, come on over. So we're talking about Ignite moments, and the cool thing is you and I have a really cool Ignite moment. Peter and I met a few years ago in Barcelona, and it's been quite a few years ago. And well, it's an interesting story that we love to share because people, especially on Valentine's Day, or people who are in relationships, like to know a little bit about how when you wish for something or you focus on something or you commit to something, it often comes true. And so I was a single mom traveling on my own with my 2 kids. Peter was a
single dad, right? So it's following like one of your guests, right? Just grinding away in a corporate job, a single dad by himself with 2 kids and just, doing what I had to do to get by.
Yeah, we often talk about that. Like sometimes when our lives aren't working out exactly the way we want, we go in search of things. And so I was also a single mom, and I was going traveling. I took my kids to do some charity work, and we went overseas. And we ended up in Barcelona at a wonderful event for World Schooling Parents. And it was kind of a neat meeting because I had rented an apartment that ended up getting canceled at the last minute. And Peter had decided to come to Barcelona.
Yeah, so same thing, right? I was coming to Barcelona, and this was a new adventure for me and my kids, right? My kids have never been engaged with something like that. I remember the day I told them, I was like, hey, I'm taking you out of school for 30 days and going to Barcelona. They're like, what? And exactly. So I booked all those stuff ahead of time. And believe it or not, my apartment fell through as well, right? So I had a 3-bed apartment, I guess in Europe is what they call it. And they called me and said, no, we can't have that one, but we have this next one, which was now 6 beds, right? So double the price. I'm like, what am I going to do with 6 beds for just the 3 of us?
Right. And I was searching online on the event for the program, for the event that we were going to. They had a Facebook rooming list. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to find a place. I need somewhere to stay. But who's going to let me stay with my 2 kids? I'm going to need 3 beds. How am I going to do that? How am I going to find it last minute? And lo and behold, I saw Peter's post. So I reached out to see if I could stay with him. He was a single dad with 2 kids, similar ages to my kids. I was a single mom. We were both traveling. I thought it was perfect. I checked out his Facebook page. He looked like a total cool guy. He was into CrossFit. He was living in New York. He was like super athletic, ambitious, doing tons. He looked cool. He didn't look like any super cool. So I reached out and said, hey, would you like a roommate?
And I said, absolutely, yes. I mean, this was, again, a new adventure for me. So I was open to anything, right? I was open to the full experience, and having a roommate, I'm like, why not, right? And especially with my kids, I'm like, oh, you have kids, it might help settle the fears of my kids, knowing that they were very similar in age.
Yeah.
So I was totally open to a roommate.
Right. So we talked on the phone once or twice, and then we made arrangements to meet about 3 weeks later. I was going to fly into Barcelona. I was in another part of Spain, and Peter was coming from America. I arrived at about 2 a.m. because I had a very strange flight, and Peter was already at the apartment sleeping, and I was downstairs yelling up to the 4th floor balcony, I'm here in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that since we were there for 30 days, we decided that we would stay local, right? So we were actually in this narrow streets of Barcelona in a flat on the 4th floor. Very quiet, very neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that was late at night. And my kids and I, so we flew all the way from the US. So we had a long flight, right? So we were tired. Where I think you came from Ibiza, right? So
Yeah.
you just had an hour flight. So but it's still late at night, and yeah, and I could tell JV's coming up the street, but never had met her. But I knew somebody was looking to get indoors.
And so the cool thing is we met at 2 a.m. My kids were tired and crabby from traveling. His kids were sleeping. He was tired and jet lagged. And so our very first encounter wasn't like perfect, but we made it work. Peter was a perfect gentleman. He helped carry my daughter up the stairs, 4 flights of stairs. She was only 8 years old because the elevator was so tiny that just me and my son could fit in it with our suitcases stacked up.
Well, almost a perfect gentleman, right? I left JB with her son with their suitcases on the bottom floor because it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, "What is going on?" Because they came in, they were dressed, to the nines, but in their beach outwear, and just I'm like, "This is too much," right? Because I've never done this before. I didn't know what I was getting into, so I took her daughter and went up the stairs and totally left them with the suitcases by themselves. And what did Adoni say to that one?
Well, my son and I got in the elevator. My son was like, "Oh, Mom, like, who is this guy? Who is this guy?" And I was like, "I know, like, he didn't even help us with our suitcases." It was so funny. And so we immediately made a judgment. We immediately made an opinion, and we were kind of like, "Oh, well, he's going to do his thing and we'll do our thing and whatever. But the best thing about that was, and I will share with all of you who are looking for love and who want to ignite some love in your life, is that moment, Peter and I just really chose that we would be friends and support and co-parent. I mean, he was immediately helping my daughter, who was like really crabby at 2 a.m. and being 8 years old, and my son, and then his kids. And so we immediately moved into co-parenting, co-living, who was buying the groceries, who was helping with the laundry, who was managing the kids, getting all the chores done, who was doing the sweeping. We immediately went to our event, which was like 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. every day. Peter would bring the kids home sometimes. I would bring the kids. He would take the kids in the morning. We'd buy groceries. Some of us would cook. Some of us would clean.
It was just like a family, right? And it was interesting because, I had been, like you said, single for 5 years and was really just getting back into, okay, do I want to connect with somebody else in the dating system line? But this wasn't part of that, right? So it didn't even, come to me that, hey, this is a beautiful woman that I'm staying with. It just became, we lived together because we were roommates.
Yeah. And it was so precious because Peter didn't hit on me. We didn't try to do anything. We were really just actually there for our kids. And we ended up doing a lot of parent things. We took the kids to the beach. We took the kids to the museum. We took the kids to the churches. And we actually supported each other. So when kids were sleeping in, or kids were crabby, or kids were spilling things, we each actually helped parent each other. Peter was giving beautiful male energy to my kids. I was providing some female energy to his kids. And it just became this symphony of a family, and it was really, really harmonious. And we had a really great time. No romance, no flirting, no nothing. It was just completely becoming best friends.
We spent the whole 30 days just as friends, right? And just enjoying learning and the experience of being in a new country, right? I had never been there before. I've hardly had ever been out of the country before. So all of that was just a new experience, and it was great to be able to bounce and lean on you, who had traveled extensively and had that experience, and you knew your way around a little bit more, and you spoke Spanish a little bit, which totally helps.
Well, what was really cool was I had a bit of an ignite moment. We decided to get on a train and go to another city for a festival that was happening one Sunday. And in my rushing around and being late, Peter was never late. I was always a bit late. We got to the train station late. I was trying to use my Spanish, and we ran through the gates and down the track and got on a train, thinking that was the train going where we were headed. And of course, when the doors closed and the train took off, the announcement came on telling us where we were going. And I instantly looked at Peter and I was like, "Oh, we're on the wrong train." And this was an ignite moment, folks, because Peter just looked at me and said, "That's okay. It's an adventure." And that had never happened to me before. I'd never been around a male who didn't get angry when you made a mistake. And I was so blessed and touched and inspired. And it was truly an ignite moment to see a man just be so gracious by a mistake made, not get angry and not get upset. And I really remember thinking at that moment, wow, this is a very different paradigm from what I'm used to. And I was really, really touched by his behavior.
Well, thank you. It's, I say didn't travel the world, but I traveled the country and, did a lot of, places. And it always was, it was an adventure and it was always trying to find your way. And it didn't always go perfectly, right? And it's sometimes, well, I got on the wrong train going the wrong direction, or I got in the wrong lane of the car. And you just have to go with the adjust. And, I didn't know any other way than to be like, okay, because we were having fun, right?
Mhm.
Neither of us had been there. We didn't
Mhm.
really know where we're going.
Mhm.
So we're like, okay, it's okay. We'll just get off if we have to.
And the ignite moments continued. So later that day, we went to a beautiful friend's house, and all of our kids were playing in the pool. So 2 of mine and 2 of Peter's, and the kids were getting along famously. I mean, they were instantly, brothers and sisters. And Peter just was trying to build a pyramid with the kids in the pool. All 4 of them. So Peter, and then the oldest would get on Peter's shoulder, and then the next one would get on the next person's shoulder. And so all 4, including Peter, were trying to build a pyramid. And they spent like hours trying to get it like successfully standing up. They fell in the water like 100 times. They were laughing like no tomorrow. And I just got to sit on the sidelines and watch this beautiful human being graciously and lovingly have so much patience and fun with the kids. Again, new paradigm. It was truly an ignite moment for me, just watching all of that unfold.
Well, thank you. Right. And, that is the thing about life, right? Is, we don't play enough, right? Is we get so stuck in, I came from, New York City area, and it's just always hectic on the go. And it was just a change in pace to just have fun in this pool that was, being rented, and the kids were just having a blast, and so was I. And, it was just fun.
Yeah. And it sparked in me an awakening that, what I had come from and what was possible was different. And it really was an ignite moment to realize that love can look differently, relationships can look differently, parenting can look different, partnerships can look different. And so when our month came to an end, Peter and I did not really want it to end. And so I was taking my kids to Rome to see the Colosseum and do some touring in Rome. And I invited Peter and his kids to come along, not go back home and change their flights and stay in Europe with us for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely right. So Valentine's Day, right? At that point is, I think, when Cupid finally shot his little arrow. But we still didn't know that, right? It still was going for fun, right? It's like, okay, let's continue the adventure. Let's see something new, something different. And, Rome was always on a bucket list. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
So off to Rome we went. And by this time, the kids were like, they were just so cemented together. They were having so much fun that they didn't really need us to be in the middle. And so we actually got some time to be together and do our own thing and start to actually be more than parents and be individuals. And we had a lot of fun. We'd go out for dinner when we'd work together in the lobby of the hotel because we were in a different time zone and we're both on our computers. And I will say that, maybe Cupid's arrow did start to show up a little bit, but I think we were both a little bit unsure. And so it took months and months for us to really actually decide that we wanted to be together, decide that we wanted to spend our lives together. Peter ended up going home. I ended up going on to Greece. I ended up calling Peter every day. The kids were FaceTiming every day. I couldn't wait for New York time to show up, so Peter was awake. And our friendship grew and grew and grew and grew over those next 4 to 5 months.
Well, she says 4 to 5 months. It was only an extra month.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was by August by the time you.
Well, actually, it was July. It was an extra month.
Right. So
because when at that point it was real, and we were aware of what we were doing, and it became real. It was like, okay, this could be somebody that I could really spend some time with, because we had been friends. And then that time in Rome gave us get to know a little bit about each other more at a little bit deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next month we got separated.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You went to Greece, I went home. And during that month, it was all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the month later is when I basically packed up my house and came here.
Yeah. So you're like, how did that all happen? And why are we telling you all this? Well, we're telling it to you for a couple of reasons. One, we really want you to realize that what you think isn't necessarily what the universe is creating for you. I mean, when you want something and you put it in your mind that you want something, I think I was looking for a relationship, you were too, but we weren't 100% like searching for it or outwardly looking for it, but knowing that it was in the consciousness. And so when you awaken to that and you decide that you're ready for something, and both of us had done a lot of personal work. So when we showed up and met each other, we had done a lot of work on ourselves. And that really is the philosophy of igniting humanity. Work on yourself first, and then you can help somebody else, and that's going to ignite humanity. And again, why we're telling you our story is because we want to inspire you. And our story has inspired many people. We published our story in a book. We've told our story quite a few times. And the reason that we do that is because we want people to realize that we were from two different countries on the opposite ends of the continent. We met in another country overseas. We both had all those strikes against us, too far away, your kids, my kids, jobs, all that kind of stuff. And Peter ended up coming to Canada to be with me. I told him, let's try a tester semester. Bring the kids with you. Let's do a tester semester and see if we can be together. We don't know what the universe has in store for us, but let's try it. And then lo and behold, Peter came to live with me, and he's been here ever since.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing to share about that is, is I did panic at that point, right? Is when so after JB came back home from Greece, right? I came to visit for a little bit, and I did panic, right? I did let that fear of the unknowing and being, right, the distance and all that sort of start to creep in and start to think, because I left. And, as our kids would always like to joke about, is that I friend zoned JV at that point. I'm like, it's too far. This isn't going to work. I've tried this before. And, you in your beautiful, beautiful way, came out with what you said, and just to totally change my mind.
Yeah, I said, why would you want to be my friend when you could be so much more in my life?
Right. And for me, as a personal, right, that took a lot of faith and belief into the unknown, right? And that's nothing I had ever tried to experience before, had to experience before. So became a big leap. But I knew through those 30 to 60 days before, I knew enough about you that you totally believed into it.
Right.
So I was willing to bet on your belief that it would help my belief.
Right. And we both talked about it because we said the only reason it's not going to work out is on us. Like, we're old enough, we're smart enough, we're wise enough, we're capable enough. It's not going to work out, and it's up to if it's our doing. If we want it to work, we'll make it work. We'll do what it takes to make it work. And so
it's been 5 years, and we still work every single day, right, at making each other. And what did I say? To be legendary in love.
To be legendary in love. He totally, another Ignite moment. He said, let's be legendary in love. And so here we are doing this show, working together side by side, parenting our kids, raising our family, growing our business, cultivating our authors, and now doing this show. And we do it every day. Peter's the man behind the screens, all the fun things that you see, Peter's making happen. And we want you guys to realize that there's those little Ignite moments that happen, that little voice, that little part of you that says, try it, go for it, make the effort, be willing. And those special things, that's what ignites humanity. And again, we tell our story because maybe there's someone in your life that you're just a little unsure, or you're not willing to, you're fearful of what if.
Take the risk.
And if you can push yourself through, knowing that it's 100% up to you, it's going to work because you put in the work. And so we just wanted to share that on Valentine's Day and let you know how I want you to all know how grateful I am for this person and how much I adore and love him and how he ignites my life every single day.
Thank you. And I am totally honored and devoted to be your loving husband and partner.
Yeah. And it's beautiful because we get to do what we do to ignite each and every one of you. Any last words?
No, I'm good. I think it's just beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he's going to go back over there in the control panel so I can give you a few final and closing words. You know, if you have a dream, we'll go after it. If you want to do something incredible and different, be willing to. I was taking off into a new country to explore and do things and show my kids a different way, and Peter was doing the same. And who knew except the masters to bring us together, and all of those chess pieces had to move on the chessboard of our lives for my apartment to follow through and his apartment to fall through, and for us to find each other, and then for us to keep having the bravery to stay together and work it out. Even though it may have seemed hard, it wasn't hard after all, because it was one of the best things we've ever done. And we just want to show you guys and where you are in your life. If you trust, if you believe, if you commit, if you make the effort, you too can have the most amazing Valentine in your life. And it's not just romance. You can do it with friends. You can do it with your kids. You can do it with your parents. You can do it with all kinds of people in your life. Just show them your commitment, show them your willingness and your belief system that you want to work it out, make it work, and have it really be igniting both of you. It's got to be a win-win. So when you win, they win, and then somebody else wins. Well, one of our principles in Igniting Humanity is all about live authentically and with genuine integrity. And I truly believe that when you live authentically who you are, I think that's why Peter and I really fell in love, is because we weren't trying to be someone we weren't. When we showed up at that apartment, we really were who we are. I had, my head in a towel after a shower, and I had to give the kids discipline, and I had to, leave my laundry on the laundry line, and he got to see it all, but it was really authentic, and vice versa. I really got to see him. And therefore, when I fell in love with him, it was the true him. And so if you want to spark love in your life, be yourself, be authentic, be the real you, show up exactly how it is you want to be, because you want that person to truly love you for who you are. And that, to me, is what Valentine's is all about, loving people for who they truly are. Now, I could go on to say that every day is a Valentine's Day. You don't just need February 14th to mark a day to show love and respect and honor and appreciation for someone that's in your life and that you care about. You could send them a bouquet of hope any day throughout the month of February if you like. So go to ignitehumanity.life/hope and send them a beautiful bouquet of hope to tell them just how much you love them, and know that your donation will go towards helping our school. If you want to watch this episode again, you can do that on our website. Go to ignitehumanity.life/watch, and you can see this episode again, or you could watch some of the other episodes where I have guests who have come in from around the globe talking about how they are igniting humanity. All of us are igniting humanity, and all of us need to make it our job and our responsibility to decide to live in a way that inspires others. And so our guests come on the show every single day, Monday to Friday, and talk about how they are igniting humanity in a way that you can follow. You can do something similar, or it can spark an idea inside of you to do something to ignite others. Well, we love and adore having you on our show and on our show. So if you want to be on the show, please let us know. Go to our form and fill it out so you can be one of our guests and tell us how you're igniting humanity, and we would love to showcase you. Well, that's it for today. Go out and hug, kiss, bless, value, support, listen to, pat on the back, shake hands, and just be kind to every single person you see today. Happy Valentine's Day. May your life be filled with Ignite moments.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.